This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave.
Welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome to what I think is the trim to get if you're looking at a Silverado EV. This is 2026, which means the RST is gone. No more. So now we have the Trail Boss, which is the one we're looking at today. Below this, or next to this, depending on how I look at it, is the LT trim, which we've done some stuff with before if you've seen the blue truck on the Out of Spec channels. And there's also the work truck, which are sick and very proper if you want to just do work things. But most people are looking at LT or Trail Boss, and we can kind of explain in this video why we think the RST is gone and why I don't actually miss it. This is the one to get. Coleton joins me behind the camera, our resident detailing expert.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. We just did a build quality review analysis on your channel, Out of Spec Detailing. Definitely check that out if you want to see more in depth on how we feel about how this was put together, including the hilariousness that is the broken front badge. Can't really see it super well out here in the sunlight, but it's basically full of water and junk, and somehow some seal behind it is broken. This is a press truck. These things get abused. TFL had it recently, which means that it probably went off-road and did some, who knows what. I gotta go watch their content on
Water features.
Water features, probably. I'd be curious to see if TFL's first video showed the emblem looking perfect. That'd be funny. Let me know who did it. Anyways, love those guys over at TFL. And I love this truck. So, RST is gone. That was the entry-level, first edition, that was the Silverado EV that came out initially.
Entry level. That was the top baby.
Not entry level. It was well,
the first entry into Silverado.
Yeah, and it was the only one actually initially. So it was kind of like entry, but there was kind of the work truck, which you couldn't initially buy at first unless you were like a fleet customer. So as a normal Chevy fan, if you wanted a Silverado EV, it was RST, which was nearly 100 grand, started at like 90 something, easily spec'd up. It was a beast. I think it looked pretty cool. It had 24-inch wheels for those who didn't understand what I just said. Air suspension, kind of the whole gamut of everything you could probably want. But then we drove it, we experienced it a decent amount, and we thought, you know what, this thing rides rough.
Yeah, between the 24s, the air suspension, which I think is kind of counterintuitive, Jordan.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think air suspension is kind of the way to go. You have big levels of adjustability in terms of height and as well damping in that. But yeah, I was never in love with the ride. It felt a little clunky over bumps. Right. I still have the same issue with Escalade IQ, feeling a little uneasy around town. On the highway, they're incredible.
Yeah, on smooth roads, maybe minor undulations, it really soaks it up nicely. One of the benefits of air suspension, as many people will know, is that you can, pile in more load, maybe even exceed the appropriate weight. I don't know what you call that, but the weight you're allowed on the payload capacity, that's the word. Hit or exceed, I don't know, don't exceed it. But if you're exceeding or hitting max payload, instead of the truck sloping back permanently, air suspension can compensate for that. That's a cool feature. But otherwise, I agree. I think it was not quite tuned for comfort as much as just trying to keep this 9,000 plus pound truck upright.
Yeah.
And air suspension is a failure point. Even if it's built really well, it probably still will fail eventually, especially when you're working with a truck. I mean, each corner of the air suspension is holding up the weight of my Miata.
That's pretty wild to think about, isn't it?
It's crazy. Air suspension is gone, as far as we can tell. Now, we did some research before this video, which doesn't always happen, but we try to research as much as possible. And with Chevy and a lot of the OEM legacy brands in general, it's challenging.
I'm confused, Jordan. I'm very confused.
We almost leave more confused than when we were when we started the research. When you look at Chevy's whole build plan, build sheet, all the options list, seeing like what's available versus not available, it's really confusing. For example, when you see independent suspension, four-wheel independent suspension, this says not available. That's because there's a different build code somewhere else that says lifted four-wheel independent suspension.
Oh, that's weird.
And so it's totally confusing, makes no sense. But from what we can tell, air suspension's gone. the RST is gone, and with it, air suspension's gone. It's no longer an option, I don't think. I don't even know if it was on the LT before, but
I don't know. The thing I'm confused about is anytime you Google, does the 2026 variant Silverado EV get air suspension? They say, yes, it's available as an option, as well as four-wheel steering. But we've gone through the configurator. I can't find that option.
right, as far as I can tell, Trail Boss, four-wheel steering, up to 3.5 degrees, maybe a hair more if you're in the off-road mode. We'll look at the screen and stuff in a second. But the LT, I don't think you can get four-wheel steering. Air suspension, I don't think you can get any more across the board. Basically, what I think happened is people are looking at the RST for nearly 100 grand, and they were like, wait, I can just get a Sierra EV, which is nicer, more premium, still 24's air suspension, just a more premium experience for not much different money. Like
Yeah.
a little more.
It was very little.
Yeah.
And it's like, just get the Denali, because it kind of looks better. The interior's way nicer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. So that's what I think happened, and I'm fine with that. Again, I think this is the one I would get. Now the LT, we'll talk about that briefly here. No four-wheel steering. I think it's nice to have four-wheel steering on something this big. And also you can get 22-inch wheels, which look cool. They do have aero cover stuff in them, and that somehow makes it to where it's the same range as the equivalent Trail Boss, which is pretty wild to me. And now I really want to get them side by side, do an efficiency test. Stay tuned, hopefully we can do that video. Because this is lifted on 35-inch wheels, or 35-inch tires, 18-inch wheels, but somehow the same range as the LT, which has bigger wheels, but they're more aerodynamic, so I guess that counteracts everything. Not sure. Hopefully we could do some testing. Maybe it depends how the EPA testing was done, but I still think it's intriguing. Now, trim-wise and price-wise, it's also kind of interesting, Colton.
Yeah, that's where I get confused. So let's come over here and start looking around this thing as well while we talk about trims, because, Jordan, there are basically three main trims on this: Work Truck, LT, and Trail Boss here, of which we have. And then in between that, battery packs as well.
Right, so it's like the different trims, but also the pack sizes determines the cost.
Which makes sense. I get
Yep.
that. I like that. But then you can, the naming I think is weird.
Yeah, so I've always had a beef with some of GM's, just various things. The bongs, when you open the driver door, really hate those bongs. It didn't do right now because it's not on, but
Of course.
yeah, funny. And then calling extended range, like that's the middle battery. I think that should sound like, if you just walk into a dealership and they're like, here's our extended range truck, you'd be like, whoa, I got the big battery. And then you find out later from your friends at the meet that there could have been a max battery. You could have gotten an even bigger battery.
Yep.
I don't like their naming convention, but standard, extended, and max are the three battery sizes. Not every truck gets them. Trail Boss, for some reason they decided no standard range. So this is only extended or max. With the LT or the work truck, you can get the three different battery sizes. Standard range is quite a bit smaller, I think. I don't remember the exact capacity, but maybe like 135 or...
It's quite a bit less.
Yeah. Whereas standard is like 180, or sorry, extended is 180, max is 205. Those are the numbers quoted by Chevy. We've actually pulled more energy out of them than what is stated. Same with charging speed. Peak charging speed of 350 kilowatts on this bad boy max pack. We've actually seen 380 nearly. So maybe they're a bit conservative. We've also pulled like 215 kilowatt hours out of these things. So huge batteries. That's how they get 478 miles of range in this case. Again, same range on the equivalent LT.
Dude, that's crazy. On a beefy all-terrain tire, 18-inch wheels,
Yep.
It looks like a brick going down the road.
And you could probably do 500 if you're not like flooring it everywhere. I mean, Chevy recently did a video, we did a video with them discussing their 1,000-mile drive on one battery, which, huge asterisk, was a 95-degree day like this with no AC, windows mostly up, rotating drivers out every hour, doing 20 miles an hour around the city.
Holy cow. That's
So,
pretty wild.
They did it. As many people pointed out in the comments, not realistic. I get it. That wasn't the point. The point was like, look what we could do. Realistically, 500 miles. But this is 92 grand as tested right now.
I think this one's 93 sticker. We can pull it open here. Let's show the viewers what this is. Dude, the color on this thing, I hope it comes through on camera, is fantastic though.
I know, it looks like I'm squinting because of the sun. That's true, but I'm also squinting because of the way this habanero orange reflects the sunlight. I love this color. I think this is the only way to get Trail Boss.
Oh, no, there's quite a few colors actually.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I've just only seen them in this color.
The kind of desert tan looking one is pretty fantastic.
That's cool too, yeah. So yeah, 90, just a hair under 92 after all options. This does have game day tailgate. We'll look at that in a second. Panoramic glass roof, 1500. Hard folding truck bed cover, it's a tonneau, 1850. It's quite a bit. And then, yeah, some organizational stuff. Roof sunshade, which is not on this. It says roof sunshade.
Wait, what the heck? Oh, maybe it's a additional little thing that just clips up there.
Pull out of somewhere else and put up there. That's kind of cool.
So 93.9 sticker on this with destination.
Yeah, 93.9. That's
$2,000 destination fee is aggressive.
That's a lot of money. This is the max range one, like we said. So you can get, if you want Trail Boss, which is 2-inch lift, the big off-road tires, red tow hooks, which is cool, and cool badging in off-road mode.
Different interior.
Four-wheel steering, different interior. That all starts at 72 grand, and that's the extended range. With some options and stuff, you're somewhere in the 70s. So you can get like this truck for cheaper than this 95. It's just if you want crazy range. Now, extended range still over 400 miles, 410 EPA, which is
yeah. So you're paying quite a bit more for like 60 miles of range, Jordan.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the greatest math equation ever.
I know. And now there are some things I'd have to see. Again, the options are exhausting. Go spec it how you'd want it if you're interested. But getting max pack then gets you things like 80 amp onboard charger instead of the 48 amp, which does make a difference if you're driving a lot. And maybe a few other packages that might be optional versus standard. So I don't know. It's so super complex. It's not like going to Rivian and speccing out a Rivian or Tesla and speccing out a Tesla. Like these legacy OEMs, I think they really like to throw options at you. But I think it's pretty sick. I've always been a fan of most of their EV stuff, other than the ding-dong sound that you might be hearing right now. But hey, I guess they decide to keep it. It's funny that every time I mention something bad about that, there's people in the comments that are like, I agree, and there's other people that are like, stop complaining about it. It's perfect. Chevy can do no wrong. What else to say about this thing? Stylistically, do you have an issue with this?
No. I think this thing looks amazing. I just followed it from my shop to over here, and it takes up the entire road. It looks rugged. It looks off-roady. It looks imposing. I am so into how this thing looks.
It's a beast. You know, I guess we should finish the rest of the specs because people like to know those up front, but it's over 700 horsepower, over 700 pound-feet of torque. Little nuances on whether wide open watts mode is turned on. Getting the extended range instead of the max range brings those numbers down a tiny bit. LT versus Trail Boss, ever so slightly different, but that's plenty of power. No, it's not the tri-motor system that you see in the Hummer or, yeah, some crazy stuff. This is dual motor, plenty. You don't need any more than this.
No.
In fact, if you are, I'm wondering how those tri-motor Hummers are going to do like long term. For people who really ragged on them, like, are all those components going to be overstressed enough? Or are they fine? Because, I mean, Chevy built a race version of this, the ZR2.
ZR2.
I don't know their
There's
name.
so many names that they have.
That's a one-off race version they built for a race. I went to go check out that race. Really fun video on this channel. They threw the tri-motor into that, and it was fine, flawless. And they cranked it up to like 1,200 horsepower.
Nice.
And it was sick. And it raced in the desert, dirt and debris and stuff getting picked up. It was fine. So maybe they'll bring a ZR2 to the Silverado EV, but for now, Trail Boss is what you get. I think it's cool. Stylistically, again, I like the use of the black to kind of break up the orange a little bit, because it is a lot of orange. It's a very bright orange. This sail thing, it was funny for me. Every time I'm reviewing a car, I like to see what the forums and stuff are saying, because it's both haters and lovers. And some people really hate this. I don't know why. Other people love it. I love it. I'm Avalanche fan right here. and also whatever the Cadillac version of that was. I think super cool design. I still think this would have been cool to be called an EV Avalanche, like an EV Avalanche.
Yep.
But I understand keeping Silverado nomenclature because that's the big seller. That's their halo truck. So I understand from a business perspective. We should talk about this tailgate.
I love this tailgate, Jordan. It was really funny. So my family has been big GM for many, many years. When this first came out, my family was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And now here we are, a couple of years later. Are you pressing the right one?
Maybe
Left
not.
one? I think it's fantastic, nonetheless, even though it's not opening.
Hold on. Is it
So
all one
here's the
motion?
way to do it. When you come in here, you go boom, boom,
Oh,
and then you give it a little flip.
that's what I was missing.
That's the way to do
Now
it.
you got the proper jump up here. And yeah, I mean, this is like 3 feet off the ground.
Dude, it's huge.
So
My
if you
hip
don't-
comes up to here.
If you don't have a step, yeah, let's have me stand down here. I'm 6 feet tall. Yeah, that's like half of me.
It's crazy.
So, you know, Ford has their thing where it pops out of the tailgate and then goes down. It's a cheap feeling step and it's got the little handle that pops out. Effective. They've been doing it for a long time. This is cool though. What's funny is we saw on the build list, how much was this option?
So it comes with the multi-pro tailgate.
Okay, so if you get the Flexi tailgate, you get these speakers.
Yes, which is weird because they used to option it out separately, so you could get LED lights and the kicker audio,
Yeah.
which I really kind of want to kick because it sounds so bad.
Exactly. I had a Bluetooth speaker in college about 14 years ago. That sounded way better than these.
Yeah.
And it was like $40.
Yeah,
So-
I agree.
Fine, get it for the tailgate because that's nice, but absolute worst speaker system you can have. But this is what they call like their game day setup. You know, you got storage stuff here. You can throw things in. It's pretty flimsy.
Pretty flimsy and like very in the way.
Yeah.
One thing, Jordan, that I'm noticing here, so this has got the 2-inch lift, 35s on it. I want you to fold that tonneau cover all the way back, and I want to see how easily or how terribly you can reach things back here because it is pretty tall. So you basically
Pull this.
pull that and then flip it up.
Okay.
Yep, and flip it again. I actually love tonneau covers like this. This is what we've run on our trucks.
Oh,
Now you have a second latch.
hot.
Is it toasty?
It's toasty. This latch?
Nope, that little string right there. You
Oh.
pull down and flip.
Oh, I see.
And then there will be one more where you can put it all the way up against the window normally. Maybe not here.
Actually, it looks like it's bolted down right there.
Okay, fair enough. So can you reach things at the back of the bed, Jordan?
Not really.
This is the funny thing I think with Cybertruck is people have complained so much about the big sails on it that you
Yeah.
can't reach anything. Dude, if you have something that gets all the way back there, you're either folding the midgate down or hopping into the bed
If
still.
you have a truck that's like 5 feet tall, you're still not going to reach in.
Yeah.
So you're right. That is funny that people complain about Cybertruck. You can't reach to the side, but a
Dude,
lot
it's
of
the
other trucks
same
you
way
can't
on,
either.
we had a 2500 AT4 Duramax.
Yep.
You could not reach anything in the bed. We were using the Pro tailgate all the time because it was so hard to get into. Now that did have side steps, which was nice.
Right, and this has steps on the corners.
Yep, right here. Which
aren't-
would be nice though to have it here also. Some people say, oh, just go up on top of the tire.
Yeah.
There's many different ways. It's always, you know, somebody's got something to say about something always.
Yeah. Something else we wanted to point out, it is in the build quality video, but if you fold open and then close just the halfway point, it catches on the tonneau,
Yeah.
which is not a good sounding thing, but hey, it's fine. Trailer hookups, depending on battery, these things can tow up to 12,500 pounds, which is awesome. Having a big battery means, yes, your range is affected by towing. That's always the case. But it means your towing is less affected than it would be if you were to say tow with a Lightning, Cybertruck, or Rivian. So, totally functional, useful. The work truck seems to be selling pretty well. I see a lot of them. In fact, Colorado Department of Transportation, Department of the Airport, whatever it's called, they all have Silverado EVs just moseying around the fleet. It's sick. It's
They're
so cool
awesome.
to see those on the road with the livery and stuff. And they're great functional work vehicles. It's got a various amount of onboard power. We can look at the front here as well, which, to your point, the people never know where to find the button. There's no label or anything, but it is right down here.
I feel like they need just like a little arrow right
Yeah.
here in the bumper because it's right under there.
Yeah. Or just a label at the top of this piece of the grill.
Yeah, sure. Something like that.
Yeah. Here is the frunk. Looks like it has a drain, which is cool.
2 drains as well. One up here also.
Oh, nice. Power outlet, which is nice.
Would be nice to have more.
Yep. Yeah, I would like a lot more power.
Sure, and I have a question for you. Why does this still say Ultium on this?
Okay, yeah.
I thought they were getting rid of that.
I don't know where that came from. Like, where did they're getting rid of Ultium come from originally? Do you know?
I heard it from Kyle. So.
I heard it from Kyle too. And I wonder where Kyle heard it from. Because GM, even in recent presentations, I was at Cadillac Escalade IQ recently, the launch of the IQ-L, still says Ultium on their slides and everything. So maybe that's just the name for their like big batteries, and maybe
I like the name.
Maybe they're going to change their other stuff. But yeah, here's your EVSE, various connectors, NEMA 1450 stuff. I'm always curious what the power of this actually is. This Ultium branded 32 amps.
That would take a while to charge this.
That would not be, it'll charge it, but like, that's 7 kilowatts, I guess, which if you're completely dead will take 30 hours.
I mean, that's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. That's not a terrible math equation there.
Yeah, but it's not going to be your like, oh, I'm going to plug it in overnight and get my full charge back.
Right.
Definitely not. But hey, better than nothing. Level 1 charging is not even a conversation with this thing. Especially when you figure in the losses. Is it close? Okay, yeah. The button's always not like super accurate for me.
I agree.
Cool to have a frunk. Easy loading, just like the Lightning F-150. Nailed that. Cybertruck does that too, just smaller frunk on the Cybertruck. Totally usable, great capacity. I just love the look of this thing. I always have.
It looks awesome, dude.
So
I just think the Trail Boss really sets it off with this. I don't understand why we've gone to 20 foes on a truck, Jordan.
Yeah.
This makes so much more sense. Nice, aggressive tire. And to me, dude, you don't really give up much. It's pretty quiet on the highway.
Yeah.
It's really comfortable. I would just go with the 35s and 18-inch wheels.
I agree. And not having air suspension, again, peace of mind, but also just rides nice. We'll get to driving in a minute. This does have the midgate. I do wish the midgate was an option.
I agree.
Because while they have improved NVH, which we should notice in the drive, having the midgate just compromises sound. Like, it could have just been built a little bit more sound isolation, sound deadening. You could have had nicer seats, because this is all optimized for storing like mid-gate functionality everywhere. And so I would have preferred no mid-gate. Most people probably won't use it, but for the people who do, the paddle boarders, the wood haulers, the other reasons to get a mid-gate, totally functional, totally useful. It stretches the capacity to like 9 foot something while enclosed, which is crazy cool. So easy to fit plywood and all sorts of lumber and stuff.
I just want to put a bed cap on this and like have the world's biggest Suburban.
Dude,
ever.
yeah.
Could you imagine how many dogs you could fit in the back of this?
This with a habanero matched bed cap would
It'd be
look
so cool.
sick.
I agree.
If someone's done that, please let us know in the comments, because I want to see it. I guess we'll start really quick back here, just showcasing how expansive the seating is.
It's insane.
Now, it's a hot day. I'm feeling a little bit of heat from the glass roof. I think it's worth it because A, GM AC is second to none. It's the most powerful thing on earth. So it more than makes up for the heat, I think. And I like, as a rear passenger, which isn't that often, but when it happens, I like to have the expansive openness vibe of a glass roof.
Can I tell you something funny about GM roofs and sunglass?
Yeah.
So, my dad just got a new GMC Canyon AT4.
Yep.
He replaced his big old Duramax. He decided, I don't want a sunroof in it, just to save a little bit of money. So he went a little on the poverty spec side. The funny thing is, later on, the forums have been saying that they didn't reinforce the roof enough, and it's actually denting roofs if you go through car washes. So the better move was to get the actual sunroof on it. And the fix for it, Jordan, is they tear the headliner out and they just put struts in there. And there's been some people who they've gone in there and they drilled through the roof and then had to rip the roof out and repair it. It's a freaking nightmare. So what I'm saying is you should probably just get the roof glass. It looks awesome.
That's what I'm saying too. Otherwise, this is equipped with the comfort and convenience package, which is built into the max battery. That is one of the things I think you have to option on the extended range. I would get it because I love air-conditioned seats, which are standard on my $40,000 Tesla, but for some reason you have to pay up enough to get them on here. Love air-conditioned seats. It's hot out here. That also gives you heated rear seats, which I do think is impressive given how minimal these rear seats have to be to do mid-gate stuff.
Yep, I agree.
So that gives you buttons here. Otherwise, very bland center console. Plastic everywhere. We've talked about this extensively. We've promised you guys to be less harsh.
I beat this horse to death, dude. The plastics here on GM vehicles, I don't know.
It is everywhere, and I think that was a big issue with, RST being 100 grand, but also this one's close to that.
Dude, this is basically a $100,000 truck.
And it's a $100,000 truck with a $50,000 interior, $40,000 interior. I don't know.
I agree.
But hey, the cost went other places.
It went right there to your big battery pack.
Right. My feet are like 3 feet off the ground because of
crazy, actually.
Double stacked battery pack, which is cool. It's a lot of energy. Really cool battery enclosure, built by Magna, by the way, in Michigan. Random thought. Rock solid door handles, rock solid door thunks.
Agreed.
I mean, that almost makes up for the GM chime. Not quite, but it kind of does. What do you say we hop in, check out a little bit of software stuff, and then hit the road? All right, in the interior, cranking some AC because it is 92 degrees outside. So toasty. Fun fact, with the Escalade IQ, similar system, I was able to pull like, I think a peak of 9 kilowatts sitting still.
Holy cow.
Which is more than if you plugged in that 32 amp EV SE, it would still be draining.
Wow.
So yeah, intense air conditioning climate systems in these things, which is awesome. They're great for that. And with a lot of energy, that means you can kind of leave it on all the time. But you kind of have to do like 3 taps on the brake pedal, 1 on the accelerator, or vice versa, to keep the vehicle on permanently. Because there's no dog mode or pet mode, there's no camp mode. All things that I would have loved to see integrated somehow. So, GM software, I'm going to lightly touch on stuff because we've done recent videos with, the Cadillac Escalade, which is similar stuff. A lot of crossover between these. I'd say great hardware. Huge screen, 17.7 inches, high quality, plenty bright enough to see, I'd say. Smaller driver display, I don't know exact size, maybe 11 inches, 10 inches, something like that. Still looks nice. Various driver screens you can cycle through, which some of them maybe show state of charge, or does it? We've had issues with various GM vehicles not actually showing the state of charge, which is a huge problem, and it's very annoying because that's an estimation where it says battery miles remaining, and I don't know if it's a setting in here. Settings in here are also a little bit clunky. It's a system I think most people can get used to, so I don't want to completely, criticize it too much, but there are still a lot of things that I think would just be nice if it was more simple, or they gave you more access to control. No CarPlay anywhere in these, which is not a new thing, but it's still a complaint. Again, going back to the forums, a lot of people are very vocal about how they refuse to buy an electric Silverado. They'll stick with their gas one because they want CarPlay and Android Auto. I go back and forth. I'm kind of torn on that because the purpose of having the built-in navigation, for example, I can put in an address that tells me what my percentage is on arrival. It'll do battery preconditioning, which you can do manually, but it'll automatically precondition to charging stops. It'll do a full route plan. If I go in here, we say we're doing a race to Vegas, and I see how long it takes to add charging stops, and then I should add them here in just a second. Yeah, boom. Only 4 charging stops.
That seems like a lot, Jordan.
Really?
Why does that seem so much?
I mean, it's 800 miles and a lot of elevation, and I guess they're somewhat quick charging stops.
Well, I guess we aren't starting at 100% too.
Oh yeah, we're starting with less than half a battery. So
okay.
It probably would be 3 charging stops normally.
Yeah.
And 2 if you really wanted to stretch it. However, you don't have all the flexibility to say some of the things you want to in here. I would rather say arrive at chargers with 1% and then my final destination with 20%, let's say. Is that even...
I thought these did that.
I thought these did that too. Can you tap on this? No. I mean, we kind of showed... Oh, here we go.
There you go.
So you can set your arrival at the final destination, but I don't think you can at each charging stop. And that's one of my main complaints, because I'm fine getting to a charging stop with 5%, because in a battery this huge, that's still like 25, 30 miles.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd rather it optimize better for that. So, here we go. Yeah, arriving with 50%, leaving here with 50%, still only 4 charging stops. Really not too bad. So route planning works and stuff. With CarPlay, what I was trying to say, you don't really get that full embedded functionality. So maybe, I think that's what they're trying to prevent. However, as an Apple Music user, as I've also beat this horse to death, I have no option in here. It's Bluetooth, which is not ideal. Granted, this Bose system is also not amazing. Like, it's decent, like totally serviceable. But I would just love an Apple Music app, but it's either Apple or Google or Chevy. Something's not talking between those 3 companies, and I, as the consumer, lose in that scenario, which is just a bummer. Otherwise, most things are fine. There's customization in here to adjust these apps where they're placed. It's relatively snappy. I think it works pretty well. It is annoying when you're on the road and you want to navigate to somewhere. There is no way to type, even if you're on Super Cruise, which I think is a pretty safe thing. Like, you're doing Super Cruise, it's hands-free, you're paying attention, but like, you know, tapping a couple letters here, can't do that. If there's weight detected in the passenger seat, then I believe there's also a passenger lockout you can disable so that the passenger can do it. Or, legitimately, if you have a passenger, that's great, let your passenger do the typing. But there's a lot of various settings that are also locked out, even if it's passenger lockout is disabled. So it's just very conservative, safe approach. It's fine, it's passable, it's just annoying as Tesla and Rivian let you do all sorts of stuff functionally while you're driving, or even, like, you know, maybe cruising around a parking lot at 1 mile an hour and you can't do anything. Super frustrating. Otherwise, I think most things are fine. I don't know, Colton, you've spent some time with this.
Mm-hmm.
What are your additional thoughts on the interior software experience before we go drive it?
I think the software's usable. I think it takes a little while to get used to. I think we kind of run into this quote unquote journalist problem where we spend such little time with vehicles. It's hard to go through every single menu and actually do a review. So things can be kind of cumbersome to find. So I think it's definitely usable. I know a lot of people do get used to the software and are pretty much liking it. But yeah, is it a bummer that it doesn't have CarPlay? Kind of. But I also like the functionality of having like actual route planning built in using Google.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. I mean, interior though, you just feel like you own the frickin' road in this thing, dude. It's so spacious. Like the room back here, this seat is all the way back and I still have leg room. Like if I were to sit behind you, I'd probably have, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of leg room.
To spare, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and I like the storage stuff solution in here. This thing moves around. You can completely make your cup holders disappear if you don't have drinks, or make them partially appear. Have a lot more space up here. You have a wireless phone charger. Only one wireless charger, and it's not ventilated, but this is actually pretty cold.
Is it?
Just, I think because the AC stuff is near here.
Probably run the vents right behind it.
But dude, it's like freezing in there. Like I wonder if it's like not like some companies like Porsche will have like a vent that
dedicated
blows air. What if this is like liquid cooled?
That'd be amazing.
That would make this car instantly the coolest thing on the road. I don't care who you are. Lots of space, as we said. Lots of USB ports. Just most everything you really need, I think. Even this little like shelf right here. I love that. I don't know why, but it's just like a place for your passenger to put their phone, which they don't always have. But then again, every time I see something I'm happy with, then I see the plastic next to it. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a nearly $100,000 truck. But I guess on the flip side, you're paying a lot of money for trucks in general these days. Trucks are just really expensive, and a lot of that is probably going to powertrain, function, just how huge this is.
Who's approaching?
Object approaching from right side, which is the wind blowing the bush.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of dings dongs, bings bongs. Auto dimming mirror plus digital rearview mirror. I think
love
those
it.
are cool. I do hear people's complaints of like having to reshift your focus to see this, but I'd say for the sake of other passengers, it's awesome to have because then everyone can see behind you, which is cool. But then to your point, the other mirrors are like too zoomed in.
I don't know what is up with their passenger mirrors, dude. It is literally like 7x zoom.
Yeah.
Like a car is probably a football field behind you and it looks like it's like, I don't know, 100 feet behind you. It's insane.
Yep. Well, I say we go on a drive, we get some food, or just head back to the shop. Just go do a thing and see how it feels on the road, because I've barely driven it. You've driven it a bunch, but I think I agree. We can explain to people why this suspension setup is thoroughly better than air.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the midgate is back here too. Let's go.
So, about to set out. It is funny that this is not showing a Trail Boss. I just realized
That's
that.
an RST, isn't it? That's definitely an RST because
Yeah,
of the
it looks
grills.
like it. But then off-road, tow haul.
Also shows air suspension there.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so there's some legacy graphics in here. And then terrain will actually turn off traction control and also give you a little bit more rear wheel steering, I think. But we're going to keep it on normal mode for now. I have one pedal driving set to high, which you can adjust here or here. Yep, you can do normal, high, or off, which is great. I hate the companies that force you out of one pedal driving.
Or force you into one form of one pedal driving.
Right, exactly. But steering here, the 3.5 degrees really does help the maneuverability. Not drastically, like it's not like the 7 or even 10 degree rear wheel steering that we see on some vehicles, but I'm pretty much a fan of how it feels so far. And also, dude, just the way it's soaking up every little bump is nice.
It feels amazing back here, just literally rolling through the parking lot. It's soft, it's squishy.
So I think we'll get out here on this straight and do a little bit of an acceleration pull, because I do want to feel, we're not fully charged, but we have enough to where we shouldn't really notice any difference.
Ooh.
Boom, got wide open Watts mode turned on. And this is where we should be able to feel it. We'll just do a launch from a standstill. See how it does. Wow, that region is aggressive.
It's so crazy. Dude, it moves.
It moves, dude.
And so does your steering wheel. It's so much torque steer in these. It's crazy.
Yeah. Which is way worse with the even more powerful ones, which is why I'm like, I don't need more power. This is totally fine. Still impressive enough to make people be like, wow, that was fun. But not enough where it gets away from you. Crossing with these railway tracks, which we do in every car.
Wow.
Dude, so good.
Yep.
These 18s with the 35s, that's just a lot of tire to deal with, which helps. It's almost like additional suspension in a way. It's just more compliance in the sidewall to help with small undulations, small bumps in the road. And then the spring setup just seems really nicely damped. I mean, even when we give it some gas, it's not like completely standing it backwards. Heavy region, it's not like tilting forwards too much. It seems pretty compliant. But then, yeah, it's a little more rolly, not quite as like stiff as you might see with the air suspension, where it can really hold you steady. But I think it's a compromise I'm willing to make.
It just feels so much better, dude. Like, I don't know, I just feel so much more connected to this vehicle than the ones with air suspension.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, in my mode, what's nice is you can finally turn off the motor sound.
Nice.
And so you can only have the pure raw motor sound, which is not dramatic until you like open up the mid-gate.
Dude, it's crazy with the mid-gate down. We'll definitely have to do that in the video because it's so quiet. The motors are really, really quiet.
Yeah. But I really like, in general, how these drive. It is a pretty slow steering rack, especially in like tight maneuvering, but I guess it's passable. I mean, it's just like how a truck normally feels anyways. But it is wild to go from like driving a Cybertruck to any of the other electric trucks, because you're going from like this being full lock to being like 4 turns or whatever it is.
Yep, I agree.
Otherwise, yeah, I'm fairly comfortable. I'd say my touch points aren't really that comfortable, and I've road tripped these. I road tripped the LT recently with Andreas out to Las Vegas, and I'd say we were relatively comfortable, but like nothing's padded enough to where you feel like it's truly cozy on your arm or anything. Like after a while, it still gets, your arm will still fall asleep. But otherwise, not really that many complaints. I think overall, this is just a really nice place to be, a really nice truck to be in.
I think the rear seats back here are a little too thin, Jordan.
I agree.
There's not much support in them.
Again, it's kind of the mid-gate compromise.
Yep.
Somewhere in here, there was a setting to where we could have the camera turned on for turn signals on the side, but I don't remember. Turn signal activated view. There we go. Wow, I'm impressed I found that. There's a lot of settings, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. So I wonder if I turn it off, turn it back on again. There we go.
Full potato cam, but it's still there.
I can't see that number, and the sign's right there. Like, I can see it out the window, but that number is so, like...
Wow.
It's like your camera is from 2005. But hey, better than nothing, and if you like that, great. I do get annoyed, though, with these cameras always popping up when I'm trying to, like, navigate. Like, if you don't have the map view on the driver's side, which you can do, I can change that right over here. But if you have the map view on here, and then you throw the turn signal on...
Oh, where am I going? That is pretty goofy.
Which is funny, because usually when your turn signal's on is when you're doing a turn, which is where you need the map. So I wish they would just throw those in the driver display or something, but that's becoming a thing increasingly. I don't know who did it first. Was it the EGMP cars, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5? They were one of the first.
Yeah,
And then
I
Tesla
still don't.
copied them, I think.
I think Tesla honestly does it one of the best ways. The EGMP ones are, again, potato cams.
Yeah, Tesla has good cameras. And Rivian, when they started doing it, it was like, oh my gosh. But now with the Gen 2 Rivians, good cameras. So hey, no more real complaint.
Dude, the midgate back here at highway speeds is unreal compared to the earlier ones.
Yeah.
I can't even sort of hear it.
Yeah, like this feels solid. I've definitely spent more time driving Sierra EV than the outgoing Silverado EVs. And so I remember the midgate being a lot more loud than the Silverado, and Sierra being like, oh, this is feeling like a bit more isolation, sound deadening has been implemented. I think that's definitely the case here, which is great. So, yeah, not too bad in VH. I mean, we're doing like pretty decent speed. Still easy for us to converse, even being in different seating rows.
Wind noise is like, I would say, slightly loud.
Yeah.
At least back here. But what I'm blown away with is the tire noise.
Right.
It's like not even there.
I was just going to say that these tires are impressively optimized for not being loud. Like, you know, you could put more aggressive tires on these and then you'd probably have a lot more noise. But as a general purpose tire that's all-terrain capable, these seem great. So you're right. All I'm hearing is wind noise, nothing else, which you can probably drown out with your music.
Yep.
Which I can't because I'm not a Spotify user. But hey, if you have Spotify, I think this is a great interface to use your Spotify, and you'd be pretty much happy.
I think we just need to change you to Spotify. This whole Apple Music nonsense is crazy.
No, we have to have different setups so that we can better review cars for all the variety of folks out there.
Yeah, it's like Kyle got an Android and then purposely lost his work phone.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
That was pretty funny.
All right, Jordan just got some Chick-fil-A, and we've got the midgate down.
Dude, immediately.
It's so loud.
I hear motors.
It's so good, though.
It's telling me the midgate's open. Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. Even when we were reversing just now, the rear speaker pedestrian warning sound is much more noticeable. That's awesome.
It sounds so much louder in person than it does
Now
on
it
camera.
sounds like just a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, it sounds
All
rowdy,
motor,
dude.
All motor behind you. That's pretty sick. Because now, instead of having the midgate, which yes is not like super NVH-y, but improved, now you have what is essentially an echo chamber above the motor.
Yes.
So it's like, that's crazy.
It's wild how loud it is.
I basically used to have one of these. Not the LeBaron, but I had the K car. Like the
Yikes.
Aries.
The Aries.
Dude, that guy is having a good time. But
He's got to have the hat because it's burned a hole in his roof from
Yeah.
the sun. Look at that.
Jeez.
Crazy.
If I throw it in reverse, though, look at the cameras. Actually pretty nice.
Ooh, here's the air suspension with.
Not from us.
Not from us.
No air here. This is, yeah, hilarious.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
I love the regen noises and like,
And hey, lane centering without Super Cruise.
yeah, just on a normal road.
It is very picky. Like if you take your hands off for like more than a couple seconds, it's like it's vibrating your seat and throwing something on the heads-up display saying, "Apply light steering force."
Pay attention.
Which all you have to do, it's funny, there is no steering force needed. It's just apply hand force on the wheel. But it works. But there's so much noise happening back there now.
This is the worst road for it too. It's just rattle central.
I was about to say, oh, I should throw the mid-gate back down for my drive back home. I think it's fun, but I think I'm going to throw it back up.
Oh yeah. Well, all the little things back there make it worse too, and they just rattle.
Right. Yeah, so, I don't know, I think it's a pretty thorough review on, so distracting all the noise behind me.
We should probably finish this when we get back to the shop.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan. Final thoughts here.
Final thoughts. I mean, like I said at the beginning, this is the Silverado EV I would get, specifically in this color.
I would get the desert sand color looking stuff. The hearing aid beige.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Like that truck pictured in the sand, awesome. But I like obnoxious colors, so I'm a habanero guy.
This is a cool color. Really, really cool color. Dude, I'm really into this thing. This kind of reinvigorated my love that I never had for GM trucks in the EV space. I was never super into them, to be honest.
It re-inspired your neutral passion.
Yeah. I don't know. I love this thing. I would definitely drive one of these, for sure.
They've solved a lot of things. They now show state of charge on one of the 5 menus.
Is it up right now?
We found it. So, GM, just why not put it right here? Like how Rivian has miles and then a bar and state of charge.
Also insane, 37%, 163 miles of range.
Awesome. So yeah, time to spend a while driving this thing down because huge mileage, not great efficiency, but who needs efficiency when you got batteries? But yeah, stay tuned for testing. Hoping to do a 10% challenge and maybe some charging stuff on this. We've done stuff with the battery, but I want to try something new with perhaps Alpitronic, so stay tuned for that. But for this thing as a whole, I'm going to enjoy the last couple days with it. So no complaints. I've, you know, if you showed up to rent a car and this was like your rental, I'd be totally fine with that.
Pumped.
Totally fine with that. Until I go to charge it and then pull out a home equity loan.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of energy. So yeah, free charging or home charging, totally needed. And at that point, I think your operational cost for sure gonna be less than your normal gas Silverado. And I feel like there's a lot of upsides. Having lane centering without needing pre-mapping, huge improvement, which is just Chevy, GM, Cadillac across the board, finally. So yeah, stay tuned for more content both on this, but also other GM products. We gotta do a hog back again now that's updated to do lane centering without pre-mapping. Maybe it'll be closer to tech of the year, but still, I don't know if it'll be tech of the year. But yeah, love this thing. Thanks for coming along, Colton. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you have serious issues with any of Chevy's stuff, are you going to miss the RST? Let us know your thoughts below.